Welcome, everyone, to episode 54 of the Circle Back podcast, the show where three great friends get together and just talk about video games. I'm Dan LaMarca. As always, I'm joined by Dan Dufrenoy.
Hello, everybody.
And Shelby White.
How you doing?
And, guys, we have a big, fat episode coming at you right now because we have a lot to talk about.
I know the Jonas Brothers got back together.
That's topic number one. Topic number one, Dan. No, but we have... So... We obviously want to talk about Sekiro. It just came out. But let's wait a minute because I got a little housekeeping to do.
Okay.
I didn't ask you guys before what you've been playing like I usually do. So if anyone has other games other than Sekiro, Babyyyyyy, what do you guys have?
Overcooked.
Overcooked.
Oh, okay.
Still playing some Overcooked?
I'm still playing some Overcooked.
Nice. What do you think?
I love it. It's fantastic.
It's a great game.
I mean, I haven't...
Remember me,
When
Dan,
we first
and
started playing it.
we played like hours of it.
Oh, it's so much fun. I've been playing it with my sister and her boyfriend, and we've just been doing the campaign and having fun. And once you start getting like a groove down every level, you're like, this is awesome.
That's
this is
all
fun.
it is.
And then you get the next level and you get your ass kicked. We're at like space levels right now, and it's not going well.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah.
It's so hard.
Those get tough.
Because you have to like open doors and send people through other elevators. It's so hard.
It's such a great premise. It's like so,
it really is.
It's just
So
so
much fun.
unique.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love Overcooked.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, we played so much Overcooked and really loved it, and then Overcooked 2 came out and just never got into it. You know what I mean?
Did
Like,
you play it?
No, that's what I'm
No.
saying. Like, I wonder what it was that...
I read like the,
Yeah.
Did you play Overcooked 2?
No, I just played Overcooked 1
Yeah.
together, and then
that
it seems
was
like
it.
every
I
house
saw
I went to,
Overcooked
everybody
2.
had Overcooked, and we were playing it. But
Overcooked 1 was just like, it was like $10 or something like that. And actually,
Yeah.
I think it was on sale, and I was like, all right, I'll play some Overcooked. I'm
Mhm.
down. And then I saw the second one, so I watched a trailer, and you could like throw food to each other, like a frisbee.
I heard that
and
was
I
the
was
big-
like, that's probably super cool.
Yeah. I heard that
But
was
it
the
looks-
big change.
Yeah, it looks chaotic.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just trying to get through the first one now, the
Yeah.
Onion Kingdom.
That's right.
I forget how far we
Is
got.
it-
Dan, we played
I
like
wonder-
hours
does
of
it-
that game.
We did, yeah. We played a lot.
Is it like a parallel universe to the Mushroom Kingdom?
I think it's got to be, right? Various food-based
The
kingdoms.
Warring
Yeah,
States, you know, the
absolutely.
onions versus.
I think I
the,
bought it on March 10th, which is Mario Day as well.
Yeah.
March 10th was Mario Day. I missed Mario Day.
MAR 10.
1-0. Mario.
Get your head right, Dan.
Oh my
Jesus.
gosh, that's
Get your head
incredible!
right.
That's so cool.
And then 4 days later is Pi Day.
That's right.
I got that one. I've known about that one, but
Um,
yeah, Overcooked is awesome.
Overcooked's a good game.
It's a lot
Glad
of
you're
fun.
playing it. You never played
it's,
it before.
you know what? It's like, because I wanted something, again, I like picking up a game on the Switch that I could just pick up
Mhm.
in between all the time. And then I just
Oh, it's
picked it up,
perfect.
and yeah, it's so perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
What else, you guys? Anyone playing any other games,
No,
catching up
it's just
on anything?
Those two that you mentioned.
All right, I'll talk about Devil May Cry 5. I finished it.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
great.
Okay.
I love it
Yeah.
from beginning to end. It's a great game. It knows exactly what it is. It's, perfect for what it's trying to be. There are moments even right up until the end where it's just like, man, it's so ridiculous and over the top, and I love it. Like, it's a fantastic game. I'm really happy I gave this one a shot because I love it. The only thing I can't really say much more about it because it would be spoiler stuff, because it's very linear, story based. You're not really doing much that I could talk about, but yeah, Devil May Cry 5 is a great game.
I want to play it, and I know, Shelby, you were mentioning they have the what was it? 3
I
games for
went
20?
and picked it up. Like,
Oh,
a
okay.
week. I haven't touched it. It's still in the box, but I went and picked up the trilogy.
Gotcha.
Like the HD trilogy of the first 3 original games. And then I actually saw and just downloaded them just in case on Game Pass. They had 4 and DMC.
Yep.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so
you have
all
them
5 of the previous games
You were able to get. Yeah.
I was able to get for 2 of them for free and 3 of them for $20.
That's really, really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's definitely one that you recommend, Dan? Maybe I should do that.
I
Maybe
would.
just
I
get
would
into the
definitely
when summer
recommend
hits,
it.
though. Yeah.
But the thing about it is,
when you have time.
the thing about it is, I went in without any knowledge of the previous games. Really, like I said, I played DMC, and that was 4 or 5 years,
Yeah,
years
yeah,
ago,
yeah.
right? 5, 6 even. So I might just say just play this one, honestly. Like I know.
I mean, if you
enjoyed
still
it.
had a great time with it, then
I had an
Yeah.
excellent time with it. I didn't really know shit about it. It's just a really fun, ridiculous, over-the-top game. And, I always bring up Doom 2016 as a game that, a lot of times we, on this show especially, talk about games that are, doing something interesting with narrative. They're, subverting our expectations. And it's like sometimes just a good old-fashioned, if it knows what it is and it's kind of tongue-in-cheek about being ridiculous and
just
cheesy, it's just, if it's well done, it could be just as great as any of that. So
definitely. Amen.
Yeah, this game is definitely in that pantheon. I also, so this is going to be an interesting one because I have a long storied history with not enjoying like loot shooters, right? Like Destiny, your Anthem, like other stuff's been like in the periphery. But I love a game like Diablo where it's like you're doing a similar thing, but the variety is really the main differentiator for me. I've brought this up before. Borderlands, Diablo, like these games have so much variety in like your skill builds, the items you get, like all that stuff. So I started playing a game because I was like, well, I saw Giant Bomb stream it. Like, Mike Mahardy from GameSpot was on there and was like, hey guys, I want to show you Warframe because I feel like nobody knows what this game is, but it's very popular, right?
Yeah.
So I watched the stream, and I'm like, wow, that game looks really fucking fun, and it's completely free. So let me give it a try. And this was right around when I was finishing up DMC, waiting for Sekiro. I was like, I could go for a little fun game just to give it a try. And Warframe is like, it's like the perfect distillation of this type of game without a lot of the BS. So it's a third person, behind the back shooter, but it has the things that I think games like Destiny and Anthem are missing.
Okay.
Because there are 39 different Warframes, which are basically unique classes. So it's like each one has 4 different abilities. They have different passives, 39 different ones.
Yeah,
so it's
Jesus.
like when you're looking at a game like Destiny, one of my major complaints is like, hey, I pick between 3 classes and then each one has a subclass that's like kind of different, but not really different. It's like one different ability.
Right.
And it's like, it just didn't do it for me. So having this kind of, variety in weapons, like this game is just, it also, the thing I should mention is it had the benefit of coming out 5 years ago. I think it came out 2013 actually. And they just it came out, nobody really cared about it. They built it up, like a lot of Ubisoft games that they do. This is by, shit, I forget the name of the team. I'm going to look it up. But they made Unreal, I think.
Gotcha. Oh, so this game is fine. So they've been adding stuff. It's kind of like if you played No Man's Sky now and you forget what it was like when you first.
Digital Extremes, they're called. So yeah, that's exactly what it's like. But they just keep adding new Warframes, which again are the classes, keep adding new weapons, keep adding new areas, planets with different environments. Like, they have bosses that are unique. Like, it feels more like a Diablo game than a Destiny-like. But it has that same loop of like, okay, I'm going to run these same missions over and over again, get different drops from the boss. Like, it has that kind of MMO-ish DNA.
Right.
But it's just so much more interesting because there's a breadth of stuff to do and stuff to get. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's awesome.
So I've been really enjoying Warframe. I played a bunch. I probably played like 15, 20 hours.
Wow.
Over the last week or two. I think it's just a great version of this. And it's also, the combat just feels really fast and good. Like, it's just kind of like a video game. Like, it's just like you're running really fast, you're jumping, you're like flying around. Like, it just moves in a way that a lot of these games don't. And I always said, like, Destiny has the great gunplay, but it doesn't have me in any other way. Where this game is like, I really enjoy playing it, and also it has the variety that I'm looking for.
It's awesome. If it's unique enough, I feel like that's enough to,
yeah, absolutely,
keep you interested.
No, it's a really cool game, and I don't know if I'm really gonna stick by it. I think it might be a good like filler game, like when I'm not playing other stuff. Like, I'm not like obsessed with this game,
Dan, please.
But I think for what it is, I think it's excellent.
Well, really cool.
I remember looking at it when it was I like saw it as scrolling by one day. I was like, oh, that kind of looks like Vanquish a little bit, like just
because you're
on
sliding,
the outside.
you're moving really fast, shooting while you're sliding, jumping. That's what I'm saying. It's very like the kinetic nature of it is like really, really interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool game. For people looking for one of those type of experiences, like this is a perfect game for people that played Anthem and said, "Now what?" Because they're done. You know what I'm saying? You get to the end of the game, there's not much to do. It's like this game, you have so much to do, so many different things to get. All the weapons feel so different. You know, you can use a bow and arrow that like, you know, does super high damage, super slow rate of fire, or you can use like a dual SMGs. Like it's a really fun video game. You know what
awesome.
I mean? Like there's nothing crazy special about it. It's just a really fun ass game.
Going and watching John Wick, you know?
Yeah,
there
exactly.
you go.
It's just a fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
No, I get you.
Yeah, so that's Warframe. Quickly, also, I will say, still playing Apex Legends a lot with friends. Still loving the game. They released their first new character, Octane.
Cool.
Okay.
His L1 ability is he like injects himself with this stuff that makes him run really fast. So it's like speed boost, but it takes away like probably a tenth of your HP.
Okay.
Something like that. So you're injecting yourself and your HP goes down, but you're moving really, really fast. And then his ultimate is he throws down on the ground this like jump pad. And whenever you or your teammates or even enemies hit it, you fly up in the air of whatever direction you were jumping in. So he's just got really cool mobility stuff.
Okay.
I've been playing with him almost exclusively. I really, really like him.
That's
Nice.
cool. I mean, you'd throw that jump pad down, you come into it with a speed boost, you could probably fly across the map pretty damn quick.
You're flying. It's also really cool if you're like running in from the circle and you're like trying to get in.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're running in really fast. Yeah, it's really cool. I also say I just love. So this game has problems in its economy because the skins are like way too expensive. There's like in the shop. If you go to like the buy tab, there are skins that are like $18 for one weapon skin.
Jesus.
But then they have this new character who you can buy straight up for $10.
You had to buy the character.
So you either buy them straight up for $10, or the in-game currency that you earn, you get 600 of this free currency every time you level up. If you save up enough, you can buy them for 12,000 at in-game currency, which I had.
Okay.
So I think it's so interesting to look at where I'm like, what are they trying to be here? Because they're selling these skins for $18, and then they're saying you can use this character for free if you play enough.
Yeah.
And it's like not that hard to play that much.
And
you know what I mean?
And
like,
you can't buy the skins. Like it was kind of like you have to buy the skin. You can't use in-game currency.
So for those specific skins, yes.
You have to pay for.
Yes.
There are probably other skins you can get with the in-game currency.
Tons.
Yeah.
But there are like specific skins in the shop that's like, hey, you know, 1,800 of the paid credits, which is $18 because $10 for 1,000.
Huh.
It's just weird, man, because I think it's so genius to say we're releasing this new character. You can pay us $10 if you want, or if you have the in-game currency, just buy them with that. You know, I think it's awesome. But yeah, Apex remains a great game, but we also have two other great games to talk about here.
Yes, and
these are going to be longer conversations because both of these games are probably, honestly, so Apex, Baba Is You, and Sekiro are probably my 3
of the year
right now. Like so let's
look at
talk
all
about
the options we have, and we're in March right now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Well, we've also had really other good games like Ape Out and
Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil 2 is pretty good.
So
Ape Out's pretty good.
Ape Out's pretty good too.
But we're not talking about those games.
No, we're not. We already talked about.
Let's talk about Baba Is You. Baba Is You. I'm gonna start it off by just explaining what this game is, and then I want to hear what you guys. I want to have a nice discussion about it because there's so much to talk about in this game.
In depth.
So right off the bat, Baba Is You is like hand drawn. It almost looks like crayon written but pixel art. Mm-hmm. That's the best way to describe it, I think.
Yeah.
And it starts. So basically, it's a top-down view, like you're looking at a grid, basically. So it's like a chessboard almost. And you're controlling this sheep, I guess, Baba.
Baba.
Yeah, you're controlling Baba. And you can move one square, you know, by moving the left stick or whatever you're playing on. And in the world, there's text, right? So it'll say, so you'll look on your little chessboard, right? You'll see your little sheep character. And I'll just give you a random example. I don't even remember the first level, but I would imagine it's the sheep's on the left, there's a flag on the right, and somewhere in that world, occupying physical tiles are the words "Baba is you" and "Flag is win." So, the first level, you might just walk from left to right, put Baba on the flag, you win the level, right? But then you start to realize that the text that is occupying the space on the board are physical objects that you can move. So a different way to solve that would be to move flag over. So basically, move flag is win near the other tiles. And again, you're like pushing them physically with Baba. So you're like moving the little character, pushing. So you get flag over there, and then you can make it. So let's say Baba is you is from top to bottom. So Baba is top middle, is right below it, you is right below that. So it's going like vertically, right? You can put flag on the left side of the is, and then so basically you can switch it so that it says Baba is win by putting
right, and then you win.
So get rid of the flag word and just put crossing with it. Like now you're going horizontally from the word Baba. Baba is win.
Yeah,
that's the level.
Right.
But you got to bring it to it because you can't like change out Baba is you. It's got to be like an addition to it.
If you accidentally, let's say you hit the word Baba or you hit the word you,
game over.
You can't move anymore because you're no longer Baba.
Yeah.
Now they do a genius thing where all you got to do is hit left trigger or X, whatever it is, and reverse your last move, and you can do that an infinite amount of times. So if you accidentally hit that, instead of restarting the whole level, just hit X and then it goes back. The other thing, now here's where it gets interesting, is say you just bring the word flag over and you swap it with Baba. Now it says flag is you, and now you're moving the flag.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're setting up the basis of a really complicated and interesting puzzle game just by these simple rules, because now I'll give you one more example of a more complicated level that's, I don't mind spoiling this one because there's over 100 levels in this game. Let's say Baba's on the left side of the screen. There's a big river of lava in the middle.
Yeah.
And then on the right, there's a flag. And somewhere it says flag is win. It says lava is hot.
Rock is
It
pusher.
says, well, let's just say, let's leave out rock. We'll just say lava is hot. And then it'll say Baba is melt, right? So if Baba touches the lava,
Yeah.
then it's game over. So you have a couple options here too. And I'm looking at this like saying, how am I going to get across with this? And what I did was I said I moved lava to the left side of Baba, and I said lava is Baba. And then all the lava became Babas, and I had like 50 different Babas, and we all walked across the screen and got to the flag.
I totally didn't do it that way, but that's so funny.
Yeah. And you can also, of course, do it as lava is you, and then you're controlling the whole river of lava to get across to the flag. As this game goes, so I played 10 hours of this game, and so I am absolutely not spoiling anything because this game goes places. Let's say it does some really crazy stuff. Here's the best way to explain it is right on the main screen. So you're kind of going into these worlds. So in the beginning, the first like 8 levels or something, you're just going 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, whatever, and then it opens up the world map. Right?
It's like an old Super Mario world.
Yeah, it looks like a Super Mario
world.
World. Exactly. So you go to the different worlds and you put your cursor over it, hit X, go in, and then you have its own little world, and you have level 1 through 12 of that world, right? On that world map, there are rules, right? Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
So on the world map, in the bottom, it says, Baba is you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, why would that be on the world map? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say any more than that, but it does some crazy stuff. Yeah, almost like. Yeah, obviously I'm not going to spoil it, but we're talking like frog fractions, like crazy, weird things going on in this game. But just the puzzle element alone makes it an incredible game because it gets hard really fast, and it gets like...
By the second level, you're like, wait, how do I do this?
Well, I remember getting through like the first like 5 or 6
that
or
little
whatever,
tutorial
and I
world,
was like, all right, that's not bad. I was like, I hope this gets hard pretty quickly, and it did, like immediately. And I was like, oh fuck. I was like, that was stupid of me. I jinxed myself. But then it gives you kind of options. You can go to like the right. You can go to. It's not like it's just extremely linear.
That's what I love about
no
this
options.
game. Yeah. So it basically, it's the first task it tasks you with is get 3 of this flower symbol, right?
Yeah.
And you realize once you go into the world, it says 6 out of 6 like petals or whatever to make up the flower.
Yeah.
So once you beat 6 levels in that world, you get 1 flower. So like where I'm at now, I have 8 of those flowers, and it's like a lot of stuff is open up to me, and I don't know if I'm near the end or not, but I would assume I am. It's nuts. But yeah, it goes from, so each world usually has like a theme. Like sometimes you're looking at, like you get to a world and all of a sudden there's a new
Character or something.
there's a new like verb, right? Where it'll say like, you know, Baba is tele, which means you teleport between the two. Or it'll say float, like text is float, which means you can't, like it'll go over stuff, but you won't. Okay. You know, like.
Oh, I didn't even get that far.
They have tons of different verbs.
The float stuff started screwing with me, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be an easy one, and then you're like, oh, damn it,
dude. Just this. Some of the stuff I'm seeing is like it's like I'm writing on a whiteboard, like trying to like write out equations, like it's a fucking
but that's what's
logarithm.
so cool about
it's
this
nuts.
game, though. That's what's like.
It's genius. Yeah. It is one of the smartest like puzzle. Like it gives me major like Witness vibes.
I was just about to. You just read my mind because that's what it is.
But it
having
really
to pull
feels
out
like
a pen
that,
and paper to be like, all right, does this make sense? If I do this, will that happen? And like, it's very few games that make you actually. Like have to sit there. And what's good about it is you can just pick it up and try a level and then put it down. But man, there are times where I'm stuck on one level for like half an hour and you're just trying to like.
I played for like an hour and a half the other day, and then I just got to a level. My brain was just fried. I got to a level, looked at it, and I was like, I'm not even doing this level. No way. I'm putting this down and coming back with fresh eyes.
The ones that really bother, the ones that are tough for me is when it's like Kiki is move or something. Because then you have to like make their pathways certain ways, and you're like, you have to think so many steps ahead.
Yeah, you have to walk, and then they walk a different direction.
Yes.
I haven't figured out yet, because like sometimes you'll do the move, and they'll go left to right, and then sometimes they'll go up and down. And I haven't figured out.
So the way that's done, basically whatever direction they're facing, they'll run.
Okay.
So if you switch them to push, and then you push them up, they'll be facing up.
Oh, and
instead
that's
of
how
left
you get
and
them
right.
to go.
You know
so
what I
much.
Yeah, I know, because that was one. I was like, I can't figure out why this guy's not moving the way I want him to. You know?
Yeah, it's no joke, this game. Yeah. But I want to spoil one level, and it's way late in the game, but it's a simpler one. This is a perfect example of how much things change. So there's something on your board that says level is move. So instead of Kiki is move, it's level is move, right? So every time you move, your camera starts scrolling up, and eventually you can't see where you are. So what you have to do, it's like a simple, like, there's like a path for you to take. So what you have to do is write down what the path is, because when you don't see anymore, you're just hit, like, I wrote like down 2, right 10, up 3, left 2, down 1. Like,
I love that. I love it.
And that is like, that's what I'm willing to spoil, because that is one of that's just an example where it gets way crazier than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gets nuts, this game. I think it's just the fact that they have the X button, or the square button is reverse a move. L1 is restart a level or whatever. Like, it's quick restart, it's quick go back. Like, I got to look up who made this, because I know it was kind of a one-person team, but they put so much love and care into this game and took their time to make sure that this was like it's impeccably done.
And that's what it is. Yeah. Every level is just so specific and so unique, and like you said, you could tell that everything that they put into it was just
Tender love and care.
Tender.
But not only that, it's also a game, like a little indie game that you could pick up, and there's no way you're just blowing through this game.
It looks
so
unassuming.
I'll probably be playing this game for the rest of the year.
But that's what I mean. You know, like you could play for the rest of the year and still not beat it, and still have fun playing it every time you pick it up.
I just love how it looks like these cutesy hand-drawn graphics,
yeah, no,
it's like
grueling.
So punishing. And not only is it grueling and punishing, but it's also like very existentialist in its themes. Like as you go on and you start to like see some of the words and the way they're laid out, you're like, you're all right, buddy. But so the developer is Hempoli Oy. He's a Finnish. So yeah, Finnish developer RV Taikari, known professionally as Hempoli. So, yeah, one guy made this game, and it's just, I love this game.
Seriously,
Another thing I want to mention.
We applaud you.
It's something I want to mention because I think it's going to get overlooked is the music is incredible. Like, it is so, so good. And in a game where you're sitting on one screen for so long, you need good music.
Yeah.
And when you go to different worlds, like...
Yeah, it changes up.
It changes up big time, and it does... Man, it is like... The soundtrack is incredible. I really love this game.
It's a great game. I totally agree. Thank you for recommending it. Cause, you know, I've been having a blast with it.
It is an awesome game.
And it's the perfect. You know, I got half an hour. I don't want to commit to something.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pick it up and see if I can get through a level.
And it's also the thing that I want to mention is what I love about it is exactly what you said, Shelb, where it's like you have multiple worlds open to you at all times.
Yeah. So
so it's like if you get stuck,
go to another one.
Go to another one, and it branches. Like when you beat a level, you'll get like two options a lot of times. So it's like, all right, let me try this one. No way, let me go to the other one. Okay, I can do this one.
Well, yeah, because even in each little world is like a sub world. You know, like that little subterranean you go down and a couple extra levels, stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of secret levels. There's a lot of extra levels. Like I said, a lot of secrets hiding in this game that I hope you guys get to, and if we don't get to, I'm going to make you look up because there's some wild stuff in this game.
Yeah, definitely.
But that was Baba Is You.
Seriously, great game.
Yeah, highly recommended. But it is out now on Steam and Switch currently.
Yes. I've been playing on Switch.
Playing on Switch too.
It's a really good Switch game. I have it on Steam.
I'm going to say this. I got to say, I love the Switch. Go Switch.
It's a great console.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Much more to come about the Switch later in the episode.
Oh yeah, we got
Stay tuned.
To talk about.
All right, let's talk about the big boy, because it's big boy season. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, the new game from FromSoftware. From. I have played 13 hours. Steam says 13 or 14. I love this game. And
I second that.
We're going to dig into this deep because I want to talk about what's different about it from other FromSoft games. I want to talk about the things that I like about it. But right off the bat, I just want to say I love this game. I knew I was going to like this game. Even with my high expectations, I like it more than I thought I was going to.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's so good.
That's awesome.
I feel like I've been talking a lot. I want you guys to talk. I'm gonna let's hear what you guys got to say.
Go ahead. You put more hours in than I did.
I absolutely love Sekiro. So my history with FromSoftware is Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and anybody that watches or listens to our show knows that I adore Bloodborne. Gone through it 2 times. So I just started playing Bloodborne last year, so I feel like very, very fresh into the whole FromSoftware love kind of kick. I know Dan's been a fan for a long time, so I was very, very excited. And when I first played Sekiro, I was definitely thrown off because it's so different than Dark Souls and Bloodborne. And I was having a very, very hard time. I was very, very frustrated. I wasn't getting.
Was it the combat that was?
Yeah, I wasn't getting the hang of it. The whole deflecting, and then what was it when you
like a parry
counter
strike, the jump attacks, and the grappling and all that stuff like that. Like it was just a completely different thing. And I went to bed Friday night when it came out, being like, man, like I'm not getting the hang of it. It's not that I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't being patient with it. I wasn't doing what I needed to do with Bloodborne. Right, because by the time now playing Bloodborne and going through it, New Game Plus, like I know it like the back of my hand, and it's easy for me now. So here I am thrown into a completely new environment, different combat, and I was doing the same thing that I would have done, a few years ago before I played Dark Souls or Bloodborne, where I was just going in trying to hack and slash. I got a sword. I want to be a samurai. I want to do all these cool things, and I died way more than twice. And then the next day, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go in, be patient, try to learn the moves, try to learn the layout of the environments. And once I did that, the game kind of opened up to me. Once you learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think FromSoftware wants you to do.
Oh yeah.
The enemies don't change, the layout doesn't change. You have to really, really know your environment, know your enemies, and now I'm having a blast with it. And it's seriously one of the best games.
This game in particular, even compared to other FromSoftware games, makes you learn, because you kind of can't brute force your way through it like you could in other Souls games.
Mm-hmm.
Like. There have been times.
To know your
how many
tactics.
times when you're in Dark Souls and you're going through an area and you're like, I'm just gonna sprint through. I'm gonna put on my heaviest armor. I'm just gonna take the hits and run through. Like,
you can't.
There's none of
this
that
game.
because there's no skill tree, like stats. There's no stats to upgrade except for vitality. Like, your health bar will get bigger as you get things, and your attack power will get bigger as you get things.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, there's nothing. You're not
you
putting
can't.
points into endurance to get more, whatever.
No armor, no nothing like that.
Nothing.
No different weapons.
Nope.
I mean, you're
just the
No, it's
different
all about
prosthetic tools.
learning the combat.
That's exactly it.
So even when you get to a boss and you're like, holy shit, that's hard, it's like you just gotta be patient and learn.
That's what I love. That's what I love about it. When I went to bed, I don't know if I should how much spoilers or.
So here's what I want to say.
So
we're gonna spoil the early parts for sure, and I'm gonna talk about specific mechanics, but I'll give you a heads up on that. Don't spoil specific bosses unless they're super early on. Like the early bosses, like I wouldn't do anything in the memory.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's fine.
Oh, before that. All right, good.
All
That's
right.
where I'm at.
So
Anyway.
I'm going to talk about the ogre.
Yeah.
When I first got up to the ogre.
Chained ogre is the first like boss.
And that's when I decided to turn my game off and go to bed on Friday night, because I wasn't, again, I was going in there. And I already figured out how to get the enemies, go backstab, and then, okay, I can deflect and then and it was like, I was getting the hang of it. And then here comes the ogre, and I couldn't dodge his attacks. I was just getting so frustrated because I wasn't killing him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, again, I went to bed, woke up, and I said, all right, I have all day. I'm just going to be patient. I'm just going to try to learn his attacks. And then once you do that, I'm telling you, once you learn and once you just learn to be patient, that this fight's going to maybe take you 5 minutes instead of, a minute,
Right.
That's when it really, really opens up.
So did you beat him without fire?
Yes, I did without fire.
That's nuts.
Got close.
That's nuts.
I just got close, and I just kept, going around him, dodging around him when he would do his grab attack. And you see the little
the
sign pop up,
yeah.
Just dodge over, hit him, go around. And it was like one of the, again, that's what it's so great about these games. It's so rewarding when you finally do that. You feel like it's like this sense of accomplishment. Little did I know he's not actually a big boss, So
yeah, I would say he is though, because that's a big difference in this game compared to other games. I would say there are 3 tiers of bosses. There's mini boss, which is like a kind of a normal enemy with, he has his own health bar like a boss, and he has, multiple death blows, but he's not like your typical big enemy boss like you would think of in a FromSoft game. Then there's, I don't know if you want to call them mid bosses, but that's where this guy fits in.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of these where like you get prayer beads from them.
Mm-hmm.
They are like full on bosses. You know what I mean? Like those are bosses. And then there are like, so I've found 3 so far that are like the what were they? The great ones they were called or whatever, ancient ones, whatever.
Ancient ones, yeah. Great ones is Bloodborne.
Yeah, but those are like like all right, you need to kill the 4 great ones or ancient ones, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That there are like 4 of those. So I would still talk about these guys. Would you say in Bloodborne there's only 4 bosses?
No, Bloodborne's got like
but do you get what I'm saying?
That's the thing, because there's like in Bloodborne and Dark Souls, there's the area, and then you get to the end, and then there's the big,
Yes.
And it's like very distinct. Here, all these guys just show up.
Yes.
And, there
oh my god, I love that about this game so much.
But that's what I love too. It's just this game compared to Dark Souls and Bloodborne, or more, I should probably say more than Bloodborne and Dark Souls, is every mini encounter too is like the same weight as like a boss encounter.
Absolutely.
Like every guy, you know, that you got to come across, like you just have to be better than, and you have to learn, and that's why it's just amazing. It's a steep learning curve, but it's totally worth it, and that's why these games are great.
Yeah. Let's talk about differences, major differences. There's stealth in this game.
Yeah, it's like playing like Metal Gear Solid in Arkham City.
But it's a legit stealth where like you're hiding in tall grass, you're sidling up to walls to like peek around corners and stuff. And it's a crucial part of this game. You can play it without doing any stealth. Your life's going to be much harder. Usually stealth is done to like prep you to fight everything else, you know what I mean? Like you'll pick off some enemies so that it's not an unmanageable amount of enemies,
right? And
then have a big fight. It's rare that you're just doing stealth, you know what I mean? It's usually like a precursor to a battle.
Yeah.
Also, there's a jump button.
Yeah, right?
So
and a grapple hook.
So there's a dedicated...
Jumping and swimming, we noticed that right away.
Jumping, swimming, grappling. Like the sense of verticality and movement in this game is incredible. Do you have the ability where you can grapple to certain enemies?
Yeah. Yes, and then you attack them when,
So getting that ability and like running away and then turning and grappling back to them and flying in with your sword, like it just feels so good in a way that a lot of these games don't. And I'm the biggest FromSoftware fan you can find. Like I love Dark Souls. I always say is one of my favorite games of all time. But there's something about this game where they made it more, so it feels more like a regular video game,
right?
While still maintaining the difficulty and the intricacy of combat and stuff. Yeah. But they made it like you can jump, you can pause the game.
I know, seriously, being able to pause, that was honestly the first moment, because my mom has a habit of, I love you, Mom, but my mom has a habit when I'm in the middle of playing a game like this, just coming right in front of the TV screen and like asking me something. It always seems like she's asking it slower than normally. I'm tilting my head across, so I'm glad that there's a pause button that helps out.
Yeah, that's a nice quality of life thing, especially as we get older and we have more things that we have to like, more responsibilities. It's like having a game that's unpausable is brutal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have stealth, you have a jump button, you have a pause button, and now where it gets really interesting is you can't... So Bloodborne did this first, but not in the same way. There's no shield in this game, right?
No.
You're parrying and blocking.
It's very offensive, but also more stealthy.
But it's more tactical, you know what I mean? Like where it's more straightforward tactical. Like in Dark Souls, you would like go in, get a hit, back up.
Right.
Go in, get a hit, back up. Or you'd be circling around them trying to get a backstab, you know what I mean? This feels like more intentional, I think is the way to talk about it. Because it's like, here's our system. You have to learn how to parry and block properly, otherwise you're not.
Yeah, because I noticed even like the dodge, you don't go far.
No,
like when you dodge,
it's not like a roll.
They can still hit you.
You got to stay up in close.
Let's
talk about the posture system. That's really
talk about that.
That's really the whole gimmick, is that you want to break your adversaries.
Yeah. Well, it keeps you from just guarding. Like you can't just guard and just sit there and take it, and then look for an opportunity every 2 minutes.
Right.
So they give you the posture, which makes sense to.
Well, let's talk about what that is. Yeah. It's a bar under the health bar, right? And it's a yellow bar that fills up as you. So the things that basically increase posture, and it depends on the enemy what does more and what does less. But deflecting, which is like your parry, deflecting will usually increase an enemy's posture more than just blocking. Also, you attacking and them having to block will increase their posture as well. So when that posture meter fills up, they get like a little red dot on them. You go up, hit R1, and it's a death blow, and they're dead. And the thing that is so cool about it is it really feels authentic. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you're doing the right moves to get this guy off balance, and then you're finishing him off on one blow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not just... you're not like chipping away at someone's health bar in this game.
Right, exactly. It's not like Bloodborne in that respect where you're just trying to get, you're trying to actually outmaneuver and out, tactic.
So there are certain enemies, like the smaller early enemies, you could just hit 4 swipes. They're gonna block too much, and then you just finish them off. Like
because their posture will be unbalanced before yours does. Just attacking.
Yes. Yeah. So you're learning what increases each enemy's posture.
Yep.
There are certain moves. There's a move which is really freaking cool. It's called like the Makari counter.
Oh my gosh, that's my favorite.
And it's
There's
so
one guy
cool.
that I had to get that for. I'm not gonna spoil
that
it,
first.
But
Oh.
In the dream.
There's spear enemies that do unblockable in air quotes, like lunge attacks. And until you get the Makari counter, you just have to dodge them. You have no options. You can't. It's unblockable. When you get this Makari counter, you hit circle and you dodge towards them, and you'll step on their spear and put it in the ground, and then like bring them across with your sword, like hit them in the back, like move them.
Yeah.
And it just is like the coolest ninja shit. It is so good. Like that's probably one of the more rewarding feelings.
Oh man, when you time it right.
When you time that right, because you're dodging into them. You're like putting yourself out there. You're like going right towards them.
Yeah.
Because you want to step on that, but it just feels so cool when you're like in the dirt.
When you get those moves right, and that's what's so rewarding about it too. It's very intricate, but when you get those moves right, it's so sweet.
Yep. And you really have to learn each enemy's techniques, because not only with bosses, but certain enemies have different combos. So like there are the super basic enemies that I talked about, but then there's these like the guys that wear the hats that are like pretty basic, but they're not. You can't just wail on them and beat them, and they have multiple combos. So they might come at you with the classic like 1 and then 2, or they might do 4, and you got to be ready for both, because they have enough tells where you can learn that. You know what I mean? Like it's man. Then this is without even talking about how they're actually doing a straightforward narrative instead of like
some cryptic
all in like
Grandized.
Vague. Usually it's like more thematic than actual narrative, you know what I mean? This game is a narrative. You know what I mean? Like there's a big opening cutscene explaining who you are and stuff like that. Like and I think it's really good.
Yeah.
It's like a self-serious like ninja movie, you know what I mean? Like they're really going for that like grave tone, like everyone is like, very serious, very stern, stoic. Like
I feel like every time you meet somebody, Sekiro just goes
yeah. Like, he hates
hey
people.
What's your name?
He hates people, so he's always like, anytime like, are you a shinobi? Like, that's his response always. But yeah, I don't know anything in particular. So I do want to talk about early stuff. I want to talk about the Chained Ogre specifically, because you had beaten him without the flame vent.
Right.
And if you eavesdrop, so there's eavesdropping.
So I do have the flame vent.
Now you do.
Now I do.
So here's the thing. So if you eavesdrop, so there's eavesdropping on people. You'll have like two enemies like sitting next to each other. If you hit down on the D-pad when you're close enough, you'll hear a conversation between them. It usually is like tips for bosses or tips on secret areas, like stuff like that.
My favorite's the very first like 2 that you listen to. Right as soon as you come out of the well and you like go up, and Dan and I did it on the play, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we put that divine air up in that moon tower. Oh, did we lock the door? Yeah, but there's that hole on the side of it that nobody can get to." Like we were crying. We thought it was so funny.
It was really good.
He was like, "This is so Metal Gear right here."
It is. It really is. But
that's
so
perfect.
when you eavesdrop on the guys near the Chained Ogre, they basically tell you that he's afraid of fire. And they say then it basically says any enemy that has red eyes is afraid of fire. So I found the flame vent, because I tried to fight him a couple times. I got my ass kicked. I was like, damn, this guy's really tough, whatever. Then I was like, I know I need fire. I was like, how the hell do I do that? I tried like throwing oil on him and like knocking the torch over that's in that area.
Oh, wow.
It didn't do anything.
Oh, okay.
But so I was like, all right, I obviously got to find something fiery. I walk around, that whole area where you find the flame vent. there's like a bunch of enemies.
Oh, yeah,
so
it's tough.
yeah, I took those guys.
You can't run in there and just go willy nilly.
No. So I took those guys out. I was like exploring around. I found the flame vent, and I went back. And so what basically happens is you set him on fire. He like has to like. He like freaks out. He's like trying to put himself out, and you're just hitting swipes over and over again while you're doing that. You get him kind of like stun locked a little bit, and it just makes the fight so much easier. It's still a tougher fight because you got to dodge his grabs and
that
stuff.
grasp is a one hit. He'll just pick you up.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, the worst is because he basically, this guy has wrestling moves. He's like a wrestler.
Yeah.
He does drop kicks and elbow drops. Like he really, literally,
Hulk Hogan out there.
He literally has wrestling moves.
That's awesome.
And he does one where he pile drives you into the ground and then flings you over his head backwards. And so if he's facing a cliff,
you're done.
You're flying right off the cliff. Oh, another thing that I want to mention that's different. You fall off a cliff in this game, you don't die.
Sometimes. I've fallen off a cliff and have died. But
well, it takes a chunk of health.
It takes a bunch of your health. That's why.
So maybe if you didn't have that much health,
that
you
makes
died.
sense.
Yeah.
Because I have had the time where you jump off and then it just you're back.
It takes a little less than half your health.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have less than half health, you're gonna die.
Die.
But it's just so weird to think about. Like, how many times have you fallen off a stupid tiny ledge in a Dark Souls game, and now you're not dying? It's nuts.
What about the resurrect system?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
You know,
so
okay, so I need clarification on this too because I'm still not sure.
It brings you back from the dead.
All right, time out. I need to warn everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spoil some really interesting mechanical stuff right now. So you mentioned you can resurrect, right?
Yeah.
So when you die,
for the first time, they tell
you
the first time you die, it happens.
When you die, it gives you L1 to die, R1 to resurrect.
Mm.
Now, you see above your health bar, there are red pips. That's the amount of resurrects you have. Now, once you resurrect, you have to kill an enemy in order to be able to use your other pip. Now, where it gets interesting is the dragon rot. Have you had any dragon rot yet?
So that's
Shelby probably doesn't know what it is, but
I
don't think that you're going to care too much about this, but I find it really, really interesting.
That's what I want to clarify.
Yeah, so there's something called dragon rot in this game, and they talk about it narratively in the divine heir's blood it's called like the water of life or something like that or whatever that runs through these towns, and it basically gives everyone this terrible disease, this previously uncurable disease. And what happens is you start dying and resurrecting and dying and resurrecting, and they say, oh, it's because you have the divine heir's blood as well, the dragon's blood. But when you're resurrecting, you're infecting other people with the dragon rot. Like actual NPCs in the game are getting sick, and basically in your little area you have the guy that made your prosthetic arm.
Mm-hmm.
He's the sculptor, and you have your doctor, Emma is her name.
Yeah.
And I know, random.
Yeah, right.
It's so random, just a westernized name like that.
So you have those two, and Emma basically says once you get this dragon rot at first, Sculptor's the first one that's infected, right? So it'll say Sculptor, dragon rot. Now, not only is this a major narrative thing, but it makes your unseen aid decrease.
Right.
Now, unseen aid is when you die, that's your percentage chance to not lose any, because you lose half your gold and half your experience bar. You can't, like, the experience, the way it works is as you kill enemies, it goes up, and when it fills up, you get 1 point. So you'll have like 2, 3, whatever, and that's building towards the next point.
Right, you can buy
you will never
skills.
lose points. Yeah. You'll never lose points. But if you're almost all the way to getting a 3rd point and you die, you lose half of that way towards getting that point.
Okay, I was wondering what I know you lost gold, but I couldn't figure out what else I was losing because I kept going through my inventory and I was like, I still have all the things I had.
Yeah, it's half your experience and half your gold.
All right.
And the unseen aid has a chance. It starts at 30%. If you die, you have a 30% chance of not losing that at all. So when you come back, it'll say unseen aid proc or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, So the dragon rot decreases that, but it also gets people sick.
Mm-hmm.
And each dragon rot is for a specific NPC. So it'll say sculptor dragon rot. And then it'll say like someone in the world, is coughing or something like that. And then you got to go find who they're talking about. Usually, So you go to the sculptor, he's like all of a sudden really sick. And you're like, oh shit, like, I got this guy sick because I've been resurrecting too much. Like that's the implication, right? So now you're left with like the moral quandary of, do I try not to resurrect as much so I don't get people sick? Because there is a way to heal it, but it's rare item. Oh, okay. You have to use a rare item to heal it. I don't know if you've gotten there yet.
I haven't gotten any
They were
rare
cryptic
items.
about it when they first spoke about the resurrection thing. They said, like, for now, there's no way of curing this or something like that.
Right.
So I figured later on.
Yeah, Emma basically, you get a blood sample from the sick people.
A woman, yeah.
You give it to Emma. She makes a cure. I bet right now, if you go back to Emma, she would be like, "Oh, here's the cure," and she would give it. She gives you one.
Oh, wait, can you cure? I have a few people sick. So can you cure
you
everybody?
Jerk.
So these,
so that's what I want to ask.
These rare items that I'm talking about, cure whoever is currently sick.
Oh, good.
So you have a balancing act of, do I wait until the next guy gets sick and then cure everyone, or do I cure everyone now and then when the next guy gets sick, now I don't have anything to cure him with, because you don't know how long. I haven't had anyone die. I don't know if people die.
Oh my gosh.
But do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So you're kind of like, do I use this rare item right now and cure the guys right now that are sick? Or do I say I need to save it for when more people, because I know more people are going to get sick?
But you don't know how long they're going to last being sick, because the sculptor is an important character.
Yeah.
Wait, do you think the sculptor can die?
I don't know. I'm very curious about that.
You seem so concerned.
Well, so
I get you though, because you get these extra bonuses to your
prosthetic
Shinobi
tools.
prosthetic.
I'm so
like if you lose the sculptor, that's
I want to talk about the prosthetic tools.
Game over, man.
It's game over.
Because we talked about the flame vent, but before we get into the other prosthetic, what were you gonna say, Dan?
I'm just so curious if that's like different ramifications for how the game ends. Like I'm curious, like. Mm-hmm. If you play the game without any resurrects or anybody dying, you get a better. And
I genuinely don't know.
All the people who survived stand behind you at the end of the end thing, and the other ones are just ghosts flying in the air.
Because you have certain cards of people that have gotten sick.
You should have to fight all the people who die.
That's where it tells you where the dragon rod is.
All the guys who die come back, and you have to fight them.
That might happen. That's like a Metal Gear thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The sorrow.
The sorrow.
It's
with the blood tier.
It's definitely an extremely cool mechanic to the game.
Yes,
that makes you second guess just being like, because right now
I can't tell you how many times I go to fight a boss, and if I don't get enough damage in, I'm like, I'll just die. I don't want to resurrect. I don't want to hurt these people.
Well, I've been doing that, and so there's been times where I've actually just chosen die, and I get the card that says, oh, somewhere in the world there's a person that's.
So I assume, and I don't know this, when you resurrect, it does more towards whatever bar is in the background, the hidden bar that's getting people sick, than if you just die regularly. But I'm sure
happen anyway.
I'm sure just dying regularly happens a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
So if I go to Emma, I go to all the people that are sick, and
have you not talked to Emma lately?
Oh no, I have. Well, last thing I did was I got the blood sample from one of the women.
So next time you visit Emma, she'll probably she'll explain the curing system.
But I can only cure the one woman.
So whoever's sick at that time, it cures everyone that's sick.
Oh, so I can cure people.
But like I told you, if someone else say you cure everyone and then someone else gets sick, now you don't have that item.
And you don't know if you get it back at another point. Yeah,
they're rare to come by.
Do you think that somebody who is sick, if you do cure them, can they get sick again?
I don't know. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the question. Are you kind of just like, let me cure everyone and then we're good?
Yeah.
I would doubt it.
Yeah.
Do you know? So one of my favorite characters is the memorial mob.
Oh yeah, the crow guy.
The group of people. So they're merchants. It's like a traveling troupe of merchants.
Yeah.
And you find them all over the place, and they are just weirdos. Just such weirdos. There are a lot of weird characters. Have you come across? This is one thing I'm going to spoil on the memory, but it's super. I'm not going to talk in detail. Have you come across the guy that's asking for the scales, the carp scales?
Is he the guy that's like trying to break into someone's house, the thief?
No, that's cool though. There's a guy.
He's asking for
He's
fish
in the water.
scales?
I don't know if he went in the water.
No.
Yeah, he's like, please, can you get me some fish scales? Like, yada yada, like whatever. And as you start to give him stuff, I'm not gonna spoil what happens, but he's a real weird dude. Also, I came across a guy in a cave that was like, I need a very strong young man. And I need him alive. If you could bring him to me. And he's like, I'm sure based on the content of my request, we shouldn't discuss this any further.
Oh my god,
that's so funny.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on in this game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's FromSoftware, so the characters are weird and and freaky and very unnerving.
I fought a really weird boss recently, and let's just say. So they definitely do some.
Let's just say
he doesn't have a head.
Okay.
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, exactly. No, this game's fantastic. I really don't have a bad thing to say about it. To be honest, it's excellent.
How far do you think you are? Like, I'm just curious. Like
14 hours in.
I feel like I've spent so much time in it. I'm just curious.
So I think
the length, because I feel like it's not compared to Dark Souls and Bloodborne. It's not
as expansive, or
not even that. It's just like the way that it's like set up.
So you're not at a point yet. I'll explain to you because I know where you're going. You're saying this is a little more linear.
Yeah, it doesn't
than
seem
a Bloodborne Dark Souls. It's not, because you're about to get to a point. You're about to fight the first of the whatever we're
ancient
calling
ones
them.
or whatever.
So I have two kind of set up in each area in the.
So the one that's not in the memory, the one that's in the real time, when you get past that, you're kind of at a big hub, and there's a bunch of spokes.
Okay.
And you can go to a couple different brand new areas from there. Like, there's a lot of stuff coming up that makes it much less linear, because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wow, this is really interesting. I kind of miss, like, you know, kind of the exploration aspect of it. Like, it didn't seem there was
Different
that much
worlds,
exploration.
yeah,
you're getting there.
Awesome.
You're literally, like, right there, because there's, like, a cave you can go down into. There's a waterway you could go through. There's a, you know, further up the castle, there's a different place in the distance. Like, you know, they get there a little later than they should, I would say, but I you know, I've gotten to the point where right now I could fight 4 different bosses, and I'm just having a tough time figuring out which one I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay.
See, I've never played FromSoftware games. I know Dark Souls and Bloodborne. I know them all. I just never actually sat down and played them. So having the linear aspect in the beginning I like that right now, because it's kind of just guiding me and saying, like, all right, kind of go this way, do this, and then once it opens up, obviously that'll be way better. I do like having the exploration aspect, but the linear is working out for me at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Completely trying to learn the combat.
I think it's smart, because I think they, like, lead you up to it. You know what I mean? Like, me personally, as a veteran of it, I was like, oh man, I just want to get to the open areas, like whatever. But I think for a newer player, I think it's nice to have that linear nature, and then, okay, now I can go in all these different directions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it's I'm looking forward to that.
I also want to ask, this is something I want to discuss with you guys. Do you think this game is a good jumping on point for new people, or, like, compared to other FromSoftware games? Like, what would you pick as a jumping on point?
As somebody who, this is my jumping on point, from what I'm hearing, since the combat is so much different than the other games, I feel like it is a good jumping on point, because it's not like you have the muscle memory of the other games. You have to relearn it. That's no matter who you are. You know,
I had a. It's not that I had a hard time in the, like, you know, we did the video. I was fine.
Different. Yeah.
But once you get to big bosses, you really have to change your approach from other Souls games. So I would say that this is a good jumping on point, but the problem is it's really, really hard.
It's a very steep. It's probably a steeper learning curve than I think the other games.
When I bought it at the store,
or maybe because I've played the other games.
Yeah.
You know?
When I bought it at the store, the woman told me, she was like, "Just so you know, this is a Soulsborne game, and you're gonna die a lot." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, lady."
That's an awesome.
Basically, just like got it, and she was like, "Stay safe."
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so that's what happened.
That's really funny. Did you ever see the old Frankenstein Boris Karloff 1931 where the guy has to come out and like warn the audience that they might be like terrified? Like that's kind of what it reminds me of. Just
that
like,
is,
just so
really
you know.
Well, that's been going on since, when I first bought the first Dark Souls at GameStop, he said the same thing. The guy at GameStop was like, this game's really, really hard. Don't be afraid to return it if you're having a tough time.
But I think it actually does a disservice to these games because like yes, they're difficult, but you just gotta like learn it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's easy to dismiss it as
almost
just
like,
oh, it's tough, I'm not gonna play it, or as all right, I'm gonna like you got to be patient for this game. It's not like and I love Mario Brothers, but it's not like you can't just jump into a level, get from A to B. Like you really, and I think that's the appeal to me.
It is the appeal, yeah. But that's why I'm saying, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can't
force someone.
Yeah. I just can't imagine being like, you got to play this to everyone.
Yeah, I think it is. I think when you mentioned if it's a good starting point, I think what I love so much is how unique all the different games are. So like for me, I'd recommend like playing all of them because I love But
this one is way different. Like this is the biggest departure by far. Even Bloodborne to Souls.
Well,
like,
agreed.
Yeah. It's different, but it's not that different.
Agreed.
This is like really reinventing it.
I mean, I think you can play it, but I recommend playing the other ones. I think for me as like a
as a starter is what I'm saying.
Like,
as
a starter,
if you wanted to get into one first, like which one are you getting? Say you do have someone. I want to play all of them. Which one are you playing first?
Oh, okay. Yeah, Sekiro.
I would think
that makes sense. Yeah.
But then here's the other thing. Say you play Sekiro, you beat it, you loved it. Now you go to Dark Souls.
It's completely different.
Is that going to be like ridiculous?
Is
that going to be super hard because it's so different?
Do you think that's where do you think that's where the difficulty comes though? From people that have played it, do you think difficulty is just the difference, or is it actually harder?
I've wondered that too because when I played I told the story a million times. When I played the original Dark Souls, it took me a bunch of attempts to actually, get into it and learn it and play it well. And then from there, like I played Demon Souls. It wasn't that hard to me. I played Dark Souls 2. It got easier. Dark Souls 3, even easier. And it's like I'm getting better at that kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played Bloodborne, and I had a learning curve, but it was still. I went into it. I was like, it's hard, but it's not. The only thing that's hard is like Ebertas and like crazy stuff like that. But it's like, so for me, I'm like, I have the background knowledge. So that's, the hard part is done. I learned it already. And even with Sekiro, I'm playing now, it is totally different. But I'm pretty good at it. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel myself getting better, but I have a good starting point already. You know what I mean? Like, even in those early areas, like I didn't die that much on those videos.
No.
Like,
and even when you did, once you went back to it, it was like deflect, kill, deflect.
Yeah.
Like you got better at it within 20 minutes. Like.
So I think having that background, yes, I had to unlearn some things that I knew from those games, but it's interesting because people are saying, is this harder than those other games? And it's like, I don't know. I really don't know because I feel like I'm getting through it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not having too much of a tough time with a lot of these bosses. There's certain ones where I'm like, wow, I really got to bang my head against it, figure it out. But just the other day, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I shouldn't say just the other day. I've only played this game for 2 days, but the boss I most recently fought, it took me like 10 tries, and I finally beat him. I was like, yeah. And then a cutscene happens, and there's another phase, and I was like,
I know exactly who you're talking about because I haven't beaten said boss. If we're talking about the one in the dream,
no.
Oh,
that yeah. That I had a different.
And
no,
that's a hard one. I'm having a hard time.
She's tough. I had a different experience. I got to her second phase much quicker.
Okay.
But I had a very tough time with that part.
I'm having a hard time.
She's tough.
But it's awesome because
get those seeds.
Okay.
Get more seeds.
Okay. Thank you.
The thing I really, we should start wrapping up on this, but
I could talk about it all day. Actually,
I know we could have definitely a full episode on that. But The thing that I really like is that there are specific weaknesses to specific items. So it's like, you know, I mentioned before the flame vent, but not only the Shinobi prosthetics, which, you know, I'm not going to say too much, but, you know, you have your shurikens, you have the big axe, you have the flame vent, those, you know, those are the early ones, right? The firecrackers. You get all these and you see the use cases for them, but they're specific. Like, if you're fighting a boss that's a beast or an animal, use the firecrackers.
Yeah.
Because they get scared.
Yeah.
If you're fighting the guy with the red eyes, use the flame vent. You know what I mean? Like,
it's learning your opponent.
Yeah, you're kind of like studying up a little bit on what you're gonna do. It kind of reminds me of The Witcher, like those, you know, The Witcher 2, Witcher 1, where like you're prepping for the battles. You need to like think about, okay, what am I? But then it goes from not only the Shinobi prosthetics, but to actual items. Like I talked about the seeds. I'm not gonna say what they do, but very useful in that fight. There's certain enemies that you can't damage with your sword unless you use a certain item. There are enemies that, you know, the ash to the eyes kind of thing will like stun a boss that you wouldn't have thought. You're like, oh, it makes so much sense. I should have tried that before. You know what I mean? Like the experimentation, the figuring out like what we're doing with each guy is like really, really interesting.
And that's what makes these games fantastic and great.
Yeah, I love this game.
Me too.
It's a big puzzle.
It's one big puzzle.
One big puzzle.
Shelby, you're enjoying your time with it for your first one?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wasn't able to pick it up until yesterday morning, and then I played for maybe about 2 hours.
Yeah,
and just got up to the dream sequence, and other than dying a bunch of times, I'm having a great time with it. You know, like because
you're starting to get the hang of it. Like,
yeah, and I love the traversal of this grappling hook.
Feels so good, right?
So freaking cool.
When you like pair them together, like you're grapple to one without hitting the ground.
It's like playing Arkham City, Metal Gear.
In
Japan. And
I'll tell you what, there were so many times where I was throwing shurikens away because I was so used to like the Spider-Man R2 trigger, and I was just like, oh, you son of a bitch. I'm like jumping off a ledge, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna catch this thing. Shuriken, no, dead. And I'm like, well, that was stupid.
That's really good.
If you got to go some way, throwing shuriken off
it's
a cliff isn't the worst way to go, I guess.
Any last thoughts about Sekiro?
I want to go and play it some more.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All right, so we have a couple other things to discuss here. Let's start with Google Stadia.
All right.
Big news.
So Google had a keynote at GDC, and they announced, we knew for a long time that Google was doing something in gaming, but they announced exactly what it is, and they kind of laid it out. They're doing a streaming service, like basically on YouTube, where you don't need to download or there's no processing happening on your end. So the whole idea is they have server racks full of these basically really huge, big computers that will process the game, run the game, and then stream it directly to whatever you're on. So you can
any screen.
If your 2005 laptop has Chrome, you can open it up and play Assassin's Creed at 60 frames, 1080p. This is their idea, right? So they're basically saying, because there's no processing, you can do this wherever, whenever, as long as you have an internet connection, right? Really exciting, really interesting. I'm very curious about the implementation of it because I saw a test and it uses 20 gigs of data in an hour on the test, right?
Wow.
So if you have a data cap, like a lot of this country does, you're going to play for 5 hours and you're done for the month. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's ambitious. I think it's interesting. I think there are a lot of issues with the idea to begin with. But the question is, it's Google. Are they really coming out of this not knowing what they're doing? Like, they seem to have a pretty good grasp of what's going on as far as tech.
Yeah.
So me, fucking layman, looking at that, I'm happy to be proposing these ideas, but I'm hoping that they have the answers. You know what I'm saying? The other thing that's interesting is they did not talk about any sort of pricing structure.
That's the thing, yeah.
And with it coming out at the end of the year.
It's coming out this year. Yeah. So they ran a test of this last year with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and a lot of the feedback was it just works. It just works. It works great. I have no complaints about it. It runs beautifully.
And you can close your laptop, and then it goes right onto your TV, and then
Well, that's the interesting idea. So I think the things that they're talking about are really, really exciting for the future, but there's two things. Number one, what's the pricing structure? Number two, I basically am saying it's got to be a subscription service, right?
Has to be.
I can't imagine they're saying you have to pay per game.
Yeah.
So if it's a subscription service, how are we paying these developers? Because I need to know.
Right, because you're not buying the game.
So what I'm worried about is this sustainable, or are we looking at something like what happened with Spotify and the music industry, right? Where it's like even Netflix and the movie industry, like
people start
everything's
pulling
changing.
Stuff,
yeah, everything's changing because people aren't making money in the same way, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to make money. Like you have artists only making money from commercials and concerts, and it's like that's not good. So how is that going to happen with video games? Because you're not having a live event to play a video game,
right?
How are you going to facilitate this being a subscription service with just Google? The other thing is Google's a huge fucking corporation, and I inherently don't like huge corporations. So like, are we trusting them with the future of our medium?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of scary.
Yeah, it is scary.
It's kind of scary.
You know they're doing some shady dealings.
Right, but they do have good ideas, and they seem to really like the whole idea of even the silly stuff, like where you're talking about you're watching your favorite streamer, he's playing a multiplayer game. Hey, let me click this. I could jump right in with him. Also, here's me playing a game on Stadia. Dan, I can't beat this part. Can you jump on here and help me beat this part? You load up my save state. You beat the part for me. I load up your save state. I move on. Really cool.
Yeah.
I love this idea. Like, and being able to watch live as you're playing it, or as I'm playing it, you're watching me and saying like, oh, just do this, and then it's like, oh, I can't do it. You want to just give it a try, and you're just hopping it. Like that's awesome. I love that.
It's great ideas.
And they add the Google Assistant to it as well, to where even if you're playing by yourself, you're not with a friend, you could just be like, how do I do this? And it kind of like sends you to somebody doing it or something like that.
Yeah, I'm curious how that works.
Yeah,
because I'm assuming they're looking at video of you and grabbing video, but I don't know.
It's got to be super smart or something like that. And then when you were just saying like you have these people who do the gaming online on YouTube and everything, who have hundreds of thousands of people watching them, and then you could jump in with them. Now, is this a lobby? Is it like third in line?
So it is.
Fourth in
They
line?
already said that. Yeah,
that's going to be huge. That's going to be a huge lobby.
If for those people, yeah. But if you have like a small niche following or something, like that could be really cool. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm sure they'll figure out ways of being like, okay, here's how we're figuring out who's playing and who's not.
Is there
like
a cap on it or something like that?
Yeah. Also, the other thing that's interesting is the controller is wireless. It's connected to Wi-Fi. It's not connected directly to your device. So the thing that's interesting about that is when they show so number one, controller on Wi-Fi, I worry about lag, right? But number two is when they show going from phone to iPad to laptop to computer, that is that fast because you are literally like it's synced up to whatever game is on Stadia, not whatever game's on this computer. So you can play with your phone on the phone or with your phone with the controller and then go shut that down, open it up here, and then you keep playing. You don't have to sync it. You don't have to do it. I think that's a really cool idea. But again, we're talking about wireless. And when you're talking about wireless, you're talking about latency. And when you're talking about that's kind of where this whole thing bursts a little bit, because I think for certain games, it's going to be awesome. But I cannot imagine a fighting game or a Twitch shooter working to this level, because you're talking about so many different points of failure between the wireless of the controller, the wireless coming from whatever node is closest to you that Google has in here.
Right.
And those things are as powerful as they're saying. And it's really cool to say, like, hey, when you're developing for us, you can use multiples. So it's like, when you're like, I understand how they can say we're getting 4K 60 frames streaming, because guess what, you're putting 4 of like the best PCs in the world together to process that one game. Like, yeah, I believe them.
They said in the future too, up to 120 frames per second. You know, like if they get there. That's
why I'm saying I don't doubt that they can get there, but our infrastructure in general in this country is terrible. Maybe us here on Long Island might be great. You go to the fucking Midwest,
right?
They're looking at like 5 megabits down. Like, they're not doing. Their internet is terrible. They're never gonna be able to do this. You know what I mean? So there's so many questions.
How it's actually gonna play out.
Yeah, and Google has a history of killing projects if they're not successful. And what if we have all this stuff started, it's getting there, 2 years from now they're like, it's not working out, we're done. You know, it sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We'll see, I guess, is the verdict on that one.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about Stadia?
Again, I'm more interested right now in just seeing when they plan on releasing and what they plan on doing with the price and how people react right away. You know, because again, that was my first thought too. Because you totally have people in the Midwest that are gonna be like, listen, it takes me if I don't get a disk space, even with the disk space, if I try and download a game, it takes days.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's no joke.
You see those cases, and then to say an all streaming service like that,
20 gigs an hour in data.
That's crazy. Insane.
So it's not like I said, we don't have a data cap here. That's why I'm able to do all this shit and upload all our videos that are 12 gigs, no problem, because our internet is really good. It's fast. We don't have a cap. But Google must have thought this through. I can't imagine they didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Throwing it out.
That's why I'm saying I'm not like your pure skeptic where I'm like, this fucking sucks. This will never work. I'm like, if this works, I'm all in. I think it's going to be great. But I have my doubts.
Work to that full potential?
Yes.
We'll see.
Because I think people are being a little over the top, being like, I'm never downloading Stadia. This bullshit. I hate this. Like, there's so much hate out there for this. And I'm like, I know they're a big company. We don't owe them anything. We don't owe them the benefit of the doubt. But it's like they're trying some really interesting stuff. They have some really good developers in-house. They kind of talked about like they might be buying other developers to make first-party Stadia games. Like, give it a try.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And it worked with Assassin's Creed. Like
everyone's saying it works.
And it worked. So it's like,
yeah. Well, it's they're launching later this year. I'm very interested. Very interested. So that's Google Stadia. We have one more thing we want to talk about. Nintendo released a Nindies showcase. That's their fun term for indies on Switch. The Nindies.
It's like the Dundies.
Yeah, the Dundies. And I basically wrote down a bunch of stuff as I was watching it. So I don't have everything on here, but I'm kind of just going to run through some of the announcements and stuff like that. So first thing they talked about, Cuphead coming to Switch April 18th.
That's awesome.
Fucking awesome.
That's so good.
Because that game is so good, and it is going to be so much fun on Switch. Yeah. Like, that is such a good platform.
It's a perfect Switch game. Yeah.
I mean, what's not?
I mean, that's true. It's just perfect. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's exciting. Well, it's coming out soon, April
18th,
right?
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Cuphead's so good. Then we have Overland, which is that.
Very excited for that. I know you'll love that game.
Yes, it's a tactics game. Video of it. It looks really good.
It looks really good.
It's kind of you guys ever hear of Massive Chalice?
Oh, you told me about that, Dan.
It's a flat. It looks a lot like Overland, and it plays like Overland, which is interesting. The difference with Overland is you're scavenging for stuff in the environment as well, and kind of like they're kind of like micro levels, and you're traveling through. And it's a 3/4 view tactics game, XCOM, whatever. But you're grabbing equipment and making noise that alerts these monsters. And so the longer you're there, the more stuff you're getting, the more enemies there are going to be. So you're kind of doing a risk reward of, okay, I want my party member to live here, and if we grab this car battery out of the car, it's going to make too much noise, and it might, he's going to be stuck there. We got to get back in the car and get out. But you're getting gas. It's kind of like a survival tactics game. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that. That's coming out this fall on Switch.
I think that's one of the most excited.
Go Switch.
Then you have my friend Pedro.
So excited.
Shelby's been talking about this game for a long time.
Game. It looks like so much fun.
So they announced it's a Switch console exclusive. So it's coming to Switch. That would make me assume PC if they said console exclusive.
Yeah.
And it's coming out this June.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I'm incredibly excited. I mean, I don't care when it comes out. I would
Banana named Pedro who makes you do all these fun things.
It looks fun. It looks like
I just
a
think
funny.
the mechanics look like it looks like so much fun to do. I'm assuming it's a dual joint, dual
100%,
stick,
like side scroller. So.
Yeah, you get to jump, you could shoot off pans. It just looks fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's why I'm excited.
We also have, this is probably my number one on this list. It's 1A, 1B I have, but Double Fine announced Rad.
Yes. Oh my God, that was the other one I was loved.
They announced it, and it comes out this summer. And the way it looks like it's Diablo, but with like a roguelike Diablo. So you're doing runs, you're getting different mutations. It's got this really cool art style. It's like, I just love Double Fine so much that I'm like, they're making a roguelike? Hell yes, I'm going to love this fucking game. So you're getting different mutations, different abilities, running through. They didn't show too much about it, but it just looked like a fun hack and slash Diablo-like.
Yeah.
I'm really
everything that they do is gold, so it's gonna be.
It was the several mutations that made it look really interesting. Like it's,
you get a giant snake head.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the snake head, you're just like popping your head out, eating people. You get a giant mutant arm. Like it looks cool.
It just looks really cool, and they always nail the style. Every game they make, they have incredible style.
Colors look great.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about this game. Then we have another one that's actually really interesting. Creature in the Well. So I don't know if this was the announcement of it or if it's just the first time I ever saw it, but it's due out this summer, and they call it a pinball action adventure game. So it looks like Hyper Light Drifter a little bit, where like you're a smaller character, you're swinging swords, but there are actual like pinballs like flying around, and you're swinging and like knocking them back, hitting bumpers, hitting enemy. Like it just looks really, really cool.
Interesting premise.
It's such an interesting idea, and it looked beautiful. Like I'm really excited for that one. Blood Roots announced out this summer. This one was kind of like your 3/4 view. It almost looked a little like Tearaway a little bit, but you're like running around like really fast action. It almost looks like a Hotline Miami-esque, but with Tearaway graphics is what I was talking about, like art style.
It's two great games you're mixing.
Yeah. But it's like you're just it's like super fast paced. You're running through like, I think you're one hit kill kind of thing, but it looks neat. We have Nuclear Throne out now, they said, on Switch. Nuclear Throne, one of my favorite roguelikes. It's an excellent game. It's by Vlambeer, the guys that made Minute. They made this game way back. It's been out 3 or 4 years now, but I love Nuclear Throne.
And for the Switch?
It's going to be awesome on Switch. They also announced Vlambeer Arcade, which is going to be
compilation.
So it's not a compilation really. It's like its own game, but it has different games in it, and they're going to come out at different times. So it's launching with Ultra Bugs. It's called. It looks like a really, really cool, like old school, like Galaga Asteroid, something in that vein. I don't know exactly what the gameplay is like, but
it was all bug enemies and stuff like that.
Yeah. But it looks like it's on screen. You're like clearing them, like almost like a. You ever play like Super Stardust or anything?
No, I'm familiar.
Yeah, it's almost like that, where like
the enemies were like centralized, and instead of like a Galaga where you're shooting up, you can kind of like
you're running around. It's like a space shooter. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to just clear the board and stay alive.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be launching with Vlambeer Arcade later this year, and then they're just gonna start putting out smaller games like that, in that game, which I think is really, really cool idea. Cool. Then we have Blaster Master 02.
Well, that looks kind of cool.
Out now. Blaster Master 0 was a launch game for Switch, and people didn't like it too much. I love the old Blaster Master, but 2 looks pretty cool. I don't know
if
it's going to be similar to 0 or if they're trying to change things, but graphically it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And I like that kind of gameplay. So
maybe they just took some feedback off the backlash on the first one when it came out. And
could be. I hope so. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, maybe.
Then we have Stranger Things 3, the game, which looks terrible.
Looks so bad. Why they even?
It looks terrible.
Did the first one that they did for season 2 do well, and that's why they
didn't do one. That's this.
That's what this was.
They announced it back then.
Oh, I thought they did one for season 2. And
why did they call it 3?
It's launching with season 3 on July 4th.
That's why.
Yeah. But it just looks bad. It looks like a terrible beat 'em up.
Yeah. I just love how the sheriff is just like, he's like huge and he just like does his big brutal smashes and stuff, and then Winona Ryder's character like swings around a little. I forgot what she had, but she was doing like a tornado.
I'm sure there's gonna be cool little callbacks and stuff, but I don't think that's gonna be worth it, to be honest. But
spend the 10 hours watching the show.
Yeah, exactly. Last one on the list, really interesting, exciting thing, Cadence of Hyrule.
Oh man, yes.
Announced out this spring.
That's so exciting.
Cadence of Hyrule is a Zelda game made by the guys that made Crypt of the Necrodancer, and it's the same gameplay as Crypt of the Necrodancer, but with Zelda. I think that is the coolest fucking thing. I would have never thought of it, but I'm so excited about it. Like, all the Zelda music and all the Zelda enemies in Crypt of the Necrodancer, like, holy shit.
Like, I remember when you were playing Crypt of the Necrodancer, that's where you move to the...
Yes, you move to the beat. And it's like you move one tile per, and you try to. There's like a heart ticking at the bottom, and if you don't move to the beat, you start to like slow down, and you know.
But Zelda.
Oh God,
it
looks
amazing.
Beautiful.
Am I getting 2 Zelda games on Switch this year?
I know.
Yeah, right.
I know.
It's awesome.
Man, I am excited for this game. Crypt of the Necrodancer is an amazing, amazing game, and I think that's such a cool marrying of two different things.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
But that's all I have here for the Nindies.
What do you think about what was that game? Zero Katana?
Yeah, Katana Zero.
Katana Zero.
It's out April 18th. I definitely will play. The reason I didn't bring it up is because I think it's like
because we're already playing a ninja game right now.
I don't.
Is that what
I need to look into it because I don't think it's a sequel. I think it's kind of like a remake. There's a game called Katana.
Okay.
That has been out. And I think this is just like an updated version of it or something. I gotta look into it because if it is a sequel, it looks really good.
Is this the one with the one-hit kill?
Like Castlevania Dracula X, but
yes, but it's one-hit kill, like Shelby said, and
it's a puzzle.
So it's more like
learn your enemies sort of stuff.
Yeah,
where you have to run through. Figure out
Hotline Miami. Honestly,
yeah.
Is what it is, but it's 2D side scroller instead, and like so you're deflecting bullets back, and like. It looks neat. I'm probably going to play it. I just didn't bring it up because it wasn't... I don't know. This is mostly like new stuff, like stuff like that.
What did you think about the cab game? What was it? The
Neocab?
Neocab.
I don't know.
You get to be an Uber driver.
It just looks janky as hell, right?
Yeah,
the text looks weird.
It doesn't look that good.
Yeah. I've heard... I mean, I think it has some good writing talent on it, so it might be okay, but I don't know.
You get to be an Uber driver.
Yeah. And just what we all want.
Fun.
But anyway, that's it for the Nindies, and I think that's going to do it for the show. Unless we have any other burning topics to discuss.
I just want to go play Sekiro.
Yeah, I was just about to say, let's go. Let's go play Sekiro.
Time to go. All right, guys, we're leaving you. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you, Dan,
everybody.
for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Shelby, for being here.
As always.
And we will see you guys next time.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Peace. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching and or listening. Just here to remind you that you can find us by searching for Circle Back Podcast or Circle Back Gaming on any of these podcast services: Anchor, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, or Stitcher. By God, I'm out of breath because of all these podcast services, but you can find us anywhere there. Also, you can find our video version on YouTube by searching Circle Back Podcast or Circle Back Gaming, and the rest of the videos we do. Thanks, guys.